Okay, for those of you that don't know, trapping season is coming up in a couple months. Um, November 6th is opening day for me for like coyote, bobcat, um, just pretty much like raccoon. The whole like predatorial uh, season for trapping starts the 6th, November the 6th. And I really haven't, I'm not going to say I haven't taken it seriously. I've just been kind of really limited to what I've used for trapping. Um, I lost a few traps a couple years ago trapping for my neighbor. Um, he had an otter problem, and he was like, "Hey, how would you like to get paid to trap for me?" And I was down for the idea. Fresh trapper, didn't really know. I knew a little bit. I knew that what I had wasn't enough for um, trapping the the otters, but I figured, I mean, I gotta try, and I did. And in the process, I had a couple traps get stolen. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, no, they just pulled it out. Nah, you can tell whenever your traps have pretty much been stolen whenever you have a 2 foot rod that you stake into the ground. An animal, if it pulls your trap out, the hole will be like oblong or oval shaped or pulled to one side. But whenever you put a, like, I don't know, probably close to 3/4 inch stake in the ground, and whenever you come back, there's no traps, no stake, and there's a 3/4 inch hole in the ground, just a perfect hole. Something pulled the traps up. Not a like, and I understand there's the possibility for like catching a stray dog, but not even a stray dog can pull a trap straight, or a stake, a 2 foot stake straight up out of the ground. And I mean, I tested it; they were in the ground good. It was a two trap. I had them like connected to one chain that was staked kind of like this, uh, and then I had them connected in the chain. But neighbor, super great guy. He was like, "Well, I hate that you lost your traps, but since you lost them trapping for me, I'll replace them." And that was how I ended up with my set, my three Duke number threes. And that was, I needed to do some stuff to them. A lot of people don't like Duke traps, at least the number threes. I heard so much crap about them, but I like them. There's been quite a few people. I know that like Carolina Coyote runs like only MBs and swears up and down that's the best trap ever, and they're good. They're very good, but um, Coon Creek Outdoors swears by the Duke number three. That's one of his favorites, and I have three of them down there. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about preparing for season this year, and um, I was watching a Trapper J um, live stream, and if you're a trapper and you don't watch Trapper J, man, that's all fine and dandy. But like, I think he's funny. I like watching him. He always sticks his hands in stupid big traps, which, but I I asked him I was like, okay, you can't buy an MB 550 because they're like $24 a piece. I was like, what's your next option? And he said, well, that's easy. Get a Duke 550. So I did. This is a Duke 550. I don't know how you can see that. Duke 550. Sorry, my dog is on it. Offset Pro. This is a very, very sturdy trap. I don't have not a negative thing to say about it. I've not put it in the ground yet, obviously, because I've only had it for a couple weeks and seasoning it for another couple months. But this trap is so sturdy. Just by looking at it, I can tell this is going to be a good trap. And I've done the reviews. I've watched the reviews. I've seen the comparisons. A guy actually compared this to the MB 550 and said they are pretty much identical, except for the Duke has a square pan and the MB has a round pan, which I like square pans. There's just something, they kind of have a better look to them. There's not much difference between a square and a round. The squares give a little bit more surface area. I mean, because you got the four corners that add a little bit more area. That and the fact that these are not the MB crunch proof swivels. But honestly, if you have any sort of craftiness to you, you can make swivels pretty easy. Just 2 nuts and 2 bolts. Weld them together and use some little hooks and good to go. But whenever I seen these, you really have to worry, pay attention to your laws in your area. They're different from state to state, maybe even county to county. But in my laws, you cannot run a trap bigger than 6.5 inch inside diameter on the jaws. Now these jaws are thick. They're probably 3, I don't know about 3/8, maybe 3/8 inch. I would probably 1/4 inch. On the inside there, you can see they're really thick. They're offset like this says on the trap pan. And like I said, this is a very sturdy trap. And if you compare the prices, the MB 550 is like $23 or $24 on Scheels, which is where I ordered this from. But also, this trap was like $15, where the MB is almost $10 more per trap. And most people buy traps by the dozen, so you can definitely, that's like a huge price difference if you're buying by the dozen, with traps being $10 cheaper per trap. I'll set this dude here in a second, but now, like I said, my state law is 6.5 inches, and this is a little bigger than 5.5, I think, like 5 3/4 or something around there. You just look up on the website; it tells you. But like I said, 6.5. So I also ordered this Smack Daddy, and also my dog goes on this one too. But this is a Duke 650. This sucker is no joke. It's massive, like it's freaking huge. It's the same construction as the other one. It's very well plated. It's got the bottom D-ring. Very nice chain. Oh, that was another thing. The MBs have a slightly thicker chain. But, I mean, if you set your traps up right and you don't give the coyote 3 miles of chain to yank on, I do not think he's getting through that. Like, the swivels are going to give out before this chain does. And if you want, just take a welder and put a tack right there where the swivel closes. Right there. And the swivel's not opening up. I mean, even if you wanted to, you could, like, tack flat sides onto this, and your swivel would be set, because the little swivel pieces on the inside don't come out to the side. They don't come past the sides. Again, fantastic trap. This is a factory 4-coil. This is like your main springs, and these are like little assister springs. Now I do have a Duke 1.5, and I was curious, so I took the springs off of the Duke 1.5, and I put them on this 550, which, as you can see, I took them back off, because for one, having the 2 springs from the 1.5 on here, which they're designed to be these springs, like on this trap, they're designed to be the only springs needed. So whenever you have like 2 full sets of high power springs, this thing was harder to set than this thing by a long shot. So much that whenever I would set it, it worried me, and I took it back off, because if you snap yourself in these, like, I put my hand in this trap, and the hardest thing about it wasn't bad. Like, traps are not designed to hurt. Like, they're not designed to damage the animal. These are rounded edges inside and up on top and on the bottom. You know, these number 3s, they're just a flat sheet of metal, so they're a little bit more on the hurtful side. But these are designed to just hold an animal for, I guess some states have like a 3-day rule. You have to check traps here every 24 hours in my state. But on top of this, from Scheels, I think I just swallowed dog hair. I also bought this. It's Carmen's Superior Animal Lure. It's a Pro-Mix Coyote. It's got a little bit of, it's coyote urine, but it's got a little bit of like lures and stuff tossed into it to make it more, I guess, irresistible to the coyotes. And you can also, just because you use a coyote urine doesn't mean that you're not going to catch like a bobcat, because it's just like a market territorial thing. Like, they bury their food and then pee on it, and then some other animal can come up, smell it, be like, hey, I'm about to steal this man's food. But I also bought this, and it's Hiawatha Valley. It did get a little bit scratched up in shipping, because I bought this the same time I bought these. I bought this after the fact, the 650. But this is a predator bait. It'll catch fox, coyote, coon, and bobcat. Well, this had white tape on it, and I was like, must just be something for shipping. And as you can see, I retaped it, because I'm telling you, this stuff is just, you can smell it through the can. But I definitely plan on buying more 650s. There's just something in my brain saying, why not get the biggest you can? I mean, the bigger the trap, the more the floor plan that he can step on. This pan is probably an inch bigger than the 550s. The traps themselves, there is just a massive difference. Can you get them both in there? No negative things to say about these traps whatsoever yet. I've set them off a few times. This little dude being kind of on the smaller side, it's a little, it's pretty hard to set with your hands because of the such of a small levers. But it's less for the coyote to get a hold of, and makes it just more packable, compact, and easier to set and bed. I have not yet. Obviously, these are pretty near brand new. I'm honestly debating even rusting them. These traps are beautiful, and I hate the idea of ruining that. I haven't even got the assembly, like the shipping lubricant, off of them. I'm definitely going to do that. You kind of have to. I might just straight wax them and just see how long they'll stay, because they're buried. I might get some black dye or just some brown dye and try to keep the shiny natural metal, but just like have a brown dye on it. Because these traps, man, they're so pretty. Is it petty to not want to rust and stain these? Probably. But I mean, look at it. If you like the trap, if you like, this is a beautiful trap. I just don't want to. Don't want to ruin the finish. But I guess if you have to, you have to. But I do want to keep them as clean as possible. It's just me. But I hope you guys like can appreciate that. The trapper in me wants to make it as effective as possible, but the OCD in me wants to keep it pretty, because this is a beautiful trap. I'll go ahead and pause the video, and I will set these, and then I'll bring them up here, and I'll set them off for you, and you can really see what I'm talking about. Just give me a second. Alright, I'm back. Now we got serious mode stuff going, so go serious mode. And I also want to mention, you kind of have to see how that pan sits so high up? Well, these traps, like the MBs, are factory night latched, and there's just a little tiny notch on the dog here, and it, as you watch the pan, you hear that click? Look how flat that pan is. Like, this trap is so flat. Now this right here, this is the 550. Set this over here. Now this is the big swampy, the big boy, the 650. You can see this thing is massive, but it also is night latched. Now, this one here, as you can see, it also sits very, very flat. These can go down a little bit more, the corner. I think if you just bend these down just a smidge, it would help hold this jaw down a little bit. But honestly, that right there, that is pristine. You do not need to get much better than that right there. It is extremely flat. But this is just, there's 4 coils worth of weight, and this jaw right here is holding back all of that. This jaw right here is loose, and that's why it's lifting up on this jaw a little bit, because this side of the lever is being torqued down, so this side is being lifted up. So you can see there's just a ever so slight bit of gap between this jaw and the lever right there. But you ain't gonna, a coyote is not gonna know what hit him. There's plenty. This trap is set flat. Look how much distance is between the pan and the floor. You can even tune this thing down more. I'm telling you, this is a great trap. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring the 550 back over here and watch. If you blink, you'll miss it. That's the 550. And the big kahuna, 650. Great traps. And when I was talking about being night latched, if you look, focus on that, not my hand. Maybe if I poke it. Oh, wait, there we go. Ah, crap, there it is. You see that little notch right there? You want to focus on it? I think you guys can see that. It's that, there you go. That little notch right there. That is night latch. It rides you whenever you set it, and you get it set up in there. Now, I watched a guy take this thing and set it for night latch as he was like closing the trap up. Like he pressed it down and set it on night latch and let go of it. Now, I don't necessarily recommend that. Just take your trap and set it to where it's like just got like that, and then lower your pan until you feel that night latch, because this is a super hair trigger whenever that night latch is set. And if you wiggle the wrong way whenever you let off the lever tension, because you're holding it down to set this pan, if you wiggle the wrongest way, your hand is inside from the top reaching for this pan, and you're just asking to get snapped in this thing. And although it wouldn't be mortal, it still wouldn't feel good. It would not feel good for a fact. But I did message Bill Duke, and requested like a sponsorship of sorts. So Bill, if you're watching this, You make a fantastic trap, and I absolutely want to work with you. I've been, I haven't really had the best of circumstances, and things come up, and you just need that little helping hand. And for you to message me back and even consider it means the world to me. So, I mean, and I'm not saying that at all as like a, don't feel like a pity party, but for real, thank you. I look forward to working with you guys if you still want to accept it. Guys, buy yourself some dukes. If you want to trap, buy yourself some dukes. They're great traps. They're sturdy. I mean, there's literally no difference between... The only difference between this trap right here and the Minnesota brand is a name and like $9 or $10. This trap will do anything you need it to, and it will not complain, and it will not break your bank. I mean, I can't hardly afford anything right now, but looking forward to trapping this year, hopefully getting some hides. Might even try to sell some on the fur market. I know that fur market's kind of trash, but being a part of the whole trapping community is rewarding in its own. And if you trap just for the money, you're going to get burnt out, because just like with YouTube, if you make YouTube videos solely on making money, you're not going to enjoy yourself. I trap because I've had animals go missing to coyotes. Honestly, I've actually been hunted down by a coyote working on fence. Whenever it was me and Dad working on some fence, as soon as he left the area, they started howling, and they had surrounded me. Luckily, I had my pistol and shotgun with me. I didn't need it, but coyotes they're getting more and more gutsy, and they need to be stopped. At least managed a little bit better. So start trapping. Get yourself some Duke 550 traps. Tell Bill that the Crazy Redneck sent you, and thank you guys for watching. I hopefully plan on trying this out and this out this trapping season. I hope to, with my own money, buy some more of these. I'd like to get 2 or 3 more. And we'll see what Bill has to say. Excuse me. I just emailed him back probably an hour ago because my stupid email wouldn't refresh, and there wasn't no way I could check it. But definitely, at least check them out. This right here, this trap was like $14 or $15. Buy one. If you're stuck to MBs, buy one of these, try it out, look and see. You will find that there is not hardly any difference whatsoever, and you might switch to Duke and save yourself about $10 a trap. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.